the reality? What's the reality?
Hello, friends, and welcome back to What's the Reality? It's your girl, AD, and y'all, I cannot wait to talk to today's guest. You will recognize him as one of the incredible experts from Married at First Sight. He's a relationship and marriage counselor who always keeps it real and brings so much wisdom to the show. Please help me welcome the amazing Pastor Cal to the podcast.
Hey.
Hi, Pastor Cal. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Oh, it is my pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you for
I'm looking
joining.
forward
So
to it.
how are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Look, I have nothing to complain about because, who wants to hear complaints? You know? You know?
Okay, so let's jump into things. So season
Absolutely.
19 of Married at First Sight just aired. 19 seasons
Yes.
is insane. How did you first get involved with the show?
16 seasons ago, my wife and I had been doing marriage coaching, and we had been doing conferences and online coaching and just a lot of stuff we've been doing practically our whole marriage. And we were actually contacted by a casting agent who wanted us to find a couple for one of their other shows. Kinetic Content is the producer, the production company. They want us to find a couple for one of their other shows way back in the day called 7 Year Switch.
Uh-huh.
So we found them a couple, and they loved the couple. But while the couple was on the show, they kept talking about us, and they would say, no, that's not what Pastor Cal said. That's not what Wendy said. So the more we talked, they wanted to talk with us and film us in a session with that couple.
That's
So while we were
amazing.
doing that, they were texting the EP, and the cameraman was texting the EP, and the showrunner was texting Chris Colin, and it was just a lot going on, saying, "No, you gotta hear this guy. You gotta really listen to this couple." So we had a meeting, and they asked me what I felt about the show and how would I change things and what would I do, and I gave them some very straightforward advice, some of my opinions, and they liked it.
Yeah.
So they asked me to be a part of the show, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. That is
Yeah.
amazing. And you have been such a staple on the show. Your presence is
Yeah, it's been a
so
lot of
needed
fun.
there. Like you are, when I think expert, I'm like, Pastor Cal, expert.
Aw,
Yes. So,
thank you so much. Coming from you, that's quite a
oh,
compliment.
please. Let's talk about your wife, Wendy. The two of you work together as
Yes.
a team. What is that
hmm
like, and how do you and Wendy like helping out couples?
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? It's funny because Wendy and I, we're both second timers. We tell people that, openly and honestly. We made some very stupid mistakes. Well, we didn't, but our marriages were mistakes. The first time around, we got married very dumb and very, very, very young,
Yeah.
and those didn't work. But we found each other about 18 years ago, and we've been married for 17 years now. And at the beginning of our marriage, we decided that we're going to make sure that we do what's necessary to help couples avoid
Mm,
some of the pitfalls of marriage. Of some of the pitfalls you can fall into, and some of the issues that can arise just out of bad decisions. And we feel that we both actually came from environments that were not healthy, and so we decided that we're going to do everything within our power. So we started talking to couples, and as we talked to couples, it got better and better, and then it grew and grew. And before we know it, here we are now. Roughly about 17, maybe about 16 years we've been doing this. I was a marriage counselor long before her as a pastoral counselor. But her with a nursing background, she came aboard, and it's been incredible. She brings a different perspective. She brings when we talk to couples, outside of the show, whatever, when we talk to couples individually, it's always great because she brings a perspective that I can't see quite often. She sees a different side of things, and it's just always good because couples that we're talking to, they love it because it's not just a guy's point of view, or
right.
just it's our point of view. And so when she brings her very straightforward opinions and understanding of relationships and of marriage, it's actually quite awesome. So I'm really happy and blessed to have her as my co-conspirator in this thing.
That's beautiful. Wendy shared on social media that you two met and got married within 6 months. How did you know so quickly that she was the one?
You know what? Like I said, we've been, this wasn't our first rodeo.
Yeah.
So I was like, she rejected me. Now she probably didn't say this, but she rejected me first. Okay. I stepped to her, and I'm like, look, a mutual friend introduced us, and I stepped to her and I was like, okay, okay, this is good. And so I didn't get her number at that time, but I contacted the friend and got her number later. Well, we were talking and she said, well, look, I just want to be friends. I mean, she'd only been divorced a couple of years and I'd been about 8 or about 9 years. But she said, we could just be friends. And I said, friends? I'm not, well, don't use the F word on me. I said, I'm not looking for a friend.
Yeah.
And so she said, well, look, that's all I have. And I told her this, and I'm not making this up. I said, you know what your problem is? She reminds me
Oh
now that's the
gosh.
wrong thing to say when
Yep.
you get to know somebody. But I said, you know what your problem is? You like me, but you don't want to admit it.
Mm.
And she was like, so that was it. We hung up and didn't talk for weeks. And then I called her back and she said, hey, what happened to you, stranger?
Yeah.
I thought you kicked me to the curb. And I
Yeah.
said, wait a minute. I thought you just wanted to be friends. Friends don't talk every day. I said, oh, you do like
Gotcha.
me.
Gotcha.
And so we never stopped talking a day since that.
Oh,
Since that time. Yeah. From the time we met, 6 months later, we were married. And it's probably the best decision I think that either of us have ever made.
that's beautiful. How do we get you
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Perfect Match? Are you familiar with Perfect Match? How I
I
met
am
my husband?
familiar with it. Talk to the producers. I'd love to. I think it's really cool.
That would change the whole game. So let's talk a little bit about your faith and how it influences your approach with relationship counseling.
Yeah. But yeah, my faith is really important to me. And the beautiful thing about it is that I try not to, and I think I'm relatively successful at it. I try not to bring my religious beliefs into it, even though I do believe that my faith is the foundation of all that I do. Um, and so when I talk to people about love, I mean, a lot of it these are principles that I've learned from the Bible.
Yeah.
A lot of them. It's like love is kind, love is patient, love is not boastful. Love considers the other person first. Love doesn't keep a record of wrongdoing. These are just really great principles, and I use this. I repackage them. But I use these principles, when I'm talking about love, when I'm talking about commitment, when we're talking about family. So, it's a big part of all that we do, and I want people to see that you don't have to be religiously offensive, just because you're a person of faith.
Right.
You don't have to drive people away with your religiosity. You don't have to drive people away with with that. That's not how this thing is supposed to work.
Right.
You're supposed to draw people with it.
Right.
And the one thread that runs through the fabric of all that we believe is love. And I believe firmly, that if I could present love in a way where people can not only see it, but it becomes palpable. You can get a picture of it. You can know what it looks like. Then I believe I've done my job.
Yeah.
I've done my job. So
I think that's beautiful. I think that's so true. Like, use what we know as a tool and bring people in with it rather than using it against people and scaring.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Don't
beautiful.
don't we have enough of that in our
Ugh,
society already? We have
listen.
so much division and so much sectarianism and just people going into their own little silos and looking at other people as though there's something wrong with them because they don't believe what you believe.
Right.
Uh, it's too much. Yeah.
Right. So, is that going to be a little bit of things that we might find in your book that you wrote called Marriage Ain't for Punks? First of all, what made you write this book and what is it about? I love the title, by the
Marriage ain't
way.
for punks. Marriage ain't for punks
It ain't.
is is a yeah, you know it ain't. Marriage is the book is a collection of the last 20 or so years of relationship experience. And we poured just about everything into this book. Um, and it's, as we often say, it's not just for read, it's for study. And the whole idea behind it is to make sure that we look at marriage and give people something that's practical that they can walk away with. I don't want people to just feel good. And I want them to know what love is. I don't want them to think about just the feeling of love. I want them to know about the principle of it.
Yeah.
That love is an intellectual commitment we make to fulfill another person's legitimate needs.
Yeah.
It's not just about feeling good. It's not just about being happy. Happiness is not the goal of marriage.
Right.
It's just not.
Right.
It's not. Happiness is a result of whatever your goal is in marriage. For my wife and I, our goal is to make sure that other couples get the tools and resources necessary to better their lives and to become the people that they believe they can be, and that they can influence not only their families but society in general. And that is the goal of marriage. And then you get happy as you hit those goals.
Yeah.
But when people say happiness is the goal, get out of here. The fact of the matter is, if happiness is the goal, then if I'm happy, I love you. If I'm not happy, I don't love you. Or if I'm happy, hey, we're good. If happiness cannot be measured, it's not. Goals are measurable. Happiness is not.
That's
So
so
all
good.
that's in here. We talk about communication. We talk about, we even talk about how to get out of a relationship that's just not working. And which I believe is so important. And so I let people know that the book is not just for married people, even though the title might give you that idea. The book is for anyone who has any kind of interest in relationships, regardless of what the relationship is.
That is amazing. I would like a signed copy sent to my place, please. Thank
You
you.
got it. You got it. I would
Um,
love to. Absolutely.
yes. There's also a Marriage Ain't for Punks app. Can you walk us through that app?
Yes. Yeah, the Marriage Ain't for Punks app is one we launched in actually 2023. I think we started the company, and then we launched the app. I think it was 24. It may have been. But the app is actually a companion to everything else that we're doing. It's designed to speak to relationships at different levels, whether it's marriage, dating, or single and not in a relationship. In fact, when you log into the app, you have a choice to either join it as a single person, as a person in a relationship, or as a married person. So there are 3 different levels to the app. And the whole idea is to provide resources and to provide a community and just so many avenues for you to find out how to make your marriage better. And as a result, in companionship with that, we also have our marriage portal, which is Maps for Real, or marriageangelpunks.com. We've sort of rebranded it from Marriage Ain't for Punks to MAPS, MAPS, which is an acronym for maturity, accountability, pursuit of life and love, and surrender. So the idea here is that we want people to grow in all those different areas, grow in their maturity, grow and learn accountability, learn how to pursue life, pursue your goals, and pursue your love, and learn how to be humble and submissive and surrender also to your partner. So that's where we are. So it's at marriageaforpunks.com or mapsforreal.com, and the app you can find on all of the platforms on iOS and Apple,
Oh, that's
or iOS
amazing.
and Google, right?
I'm going to go home and download that and be like, honey, I got something for us.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Amazing. Okay, let's take a look into your Married at First Sight career before we get into this new season. You touched on it
Please.
a little bit, but you've been an expert
Mhm.
on Married at First Sight since 2016 when you joined the
Yeah.
show in season 4. What first drew you into this unique social experiment?
A conversation I had with the CEO of the production company, Chris Colin, who's just a great guy, and when they had approached me about it, it wasn't something that I was looking for because I didn't even TV is not something that I ever even
Uh-huh.
was thinking about ever doing. But when I talked to Chris about it, I asked him. I said, "Okay, are you guys serious about marriage? Are you serious about making marriages work, or is this just some sensational thing?
Right.
Because if it is, I didn't want to be a part of
Right.
it. But Chris told me at that point, he said, "Look, man, I've been married for 13 years. I want this to be something where people can learn and they can come away and say, wow, thank you for that. And we believe you can be a part of it." And I said, okay, great. Well, then let's do it. And I thought it would last for maybe one season or maybe two. 16,
Yeah. Yeah.
that I've been in it. So what drew me into it is that it's real. Even though we've been accused of fabricating and prepping people, what you see is real.
Right.
I mean, the
Right.
decisions they make, the craziness is, you know,
I
this.
know.
This is
Yeah.
all real
Yeah.
stuff. So it's I love to see the evolution of people. I love to see people, the aha moments where the lights come on and like, oh wow. Or even if the relationship doesn't work, I love to see when they have pivoted or turned a corner in their own personal development. And they realize, you know what, I have to get this together. I have to make this right if I'm ever going to be in a healthy relationship. So there's so many positive things about the show and about the experience that I love.
That is so cool. How different is the show now compared to when you first started?
Oh wow. First of all, the evolution of social media, when we first started, it wasn't, and it seems crazy because it was only in 2016, 15, 16, but it's crazy because we had social media back then, but it was not as pervasive as it is now.
Right.
And so just the just that just it's so ingrained in our society now. It's like now, for instance, when we match people, we have to make sure that their social media is clean. We have to tell them, look, go through it, clean it up, get all that crap off of it, make sure that and people are now more influenced by social media influencers than they are by counselors and
Yeah.
coaches and what
Yeah.
have you. Everybody's a coach now. Everybody who's got over 100,000 followers can get rid of it. This is how you
Yeah.
make marriage work.
Yeah.
Dude, where's your wife?
Right.
It's like,
Right.
really? I'm not calling out no names, but I can think of some people, who touting themselves as relationship whatever. Yeah, your marriage is non-existent.
Yeah. Doesn't
So, but anyway,
exist.
there's been a lot of changes though since we first started, and I think some of them are good. Even now with AI and such, it is. I've just seen so much happen through the eyes of the show that it's been phenomenal. But I'm looking forward to it even getting better.
Yeah.
Actually,
Can you break down the matchmaking process a little bit? Like, what is it that the
Mhm.
viewers don't get to see?
Yeah. What they don't get to see, number one, is that it's grueling. To even become um, a candidate, you have to fill out a questionnaire online or something like that. And then once you do that, our casting agents go through it. Then they, take out people who may have young children, because we don't do that if you got young kids, or take out people who may be looking for something that's just completely outlandish, or people who are trying to get on TV. We don't like that. And then once we've narrowed that down and funneled that down to a few, we come in and we sit and talk with these people, and we give them psychological evaluations. They get health evaluations. Then we visit their homes. We talk to their families.
Wow.
It's really in depth. It's quite extensive. And then we pray, and hope that we made the right decisions.
Right.
And by some seasons, you can see, but generally, what people don't know is that it's not random. We do our absolute best to make sure we're choosing the best people who we think will be married and will be successful together. And we have what about, well, I can't say how many because I don't want to give away any spoilers for this
Yeah.
season, but we have quite a few people who are still married, and we have about 14 babies or
Yeah.
something like
The
that.
numbers are
So
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Were there any pairings that you wish you could have stepped in and reevaluated once filming started?
Yeah. Uh, Yeah, boy. Yes. I would probably say This is
Are you
terrible.
doing
I said
names?
the entire season of Denver.
Uh-oh.
Oh God, probably the entire season. Yeah, that just did. Oh God, that was just a bad season.
Yeah.
But I would say outside of them, they're an outlier. I'm not gonna bring them in. Love you, Denver, but I think probably Chris and Paige uh, in Atlanta. Um, yeah, we were blindsided terribly on that one. And there are some other doozies back that I wish I could have, reworked. Amber and this tall basketball player dude that we got her with. Jeez, what a disaster. But we tried, and we sometimes we can only go on what people tell us. So if you and it's like it's easy to fool somebody if you're accustomed to lying. You know what I mean? If that's just a part of who you
Right,
are,
right, right.
then here we come. And we're like, oh wow, okay, well he's convinced all of us. Well, yeah,
Right.
that's because that's what he does.
Right. Right. A
Yeah. So
swindler. Yeah.
yeah.
What has being an expert on Married at First Sight taught you about marriage? And is there anything that you take from the show and apply to your own marriage?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's taught me a lot. It's taught me that for as unpredictable as marriage is, 9 times out of 10 you can find a solution through listening. A lot of what we implement in the show, these are things not only that I've taught, but things that I do. For instance, as I tell people, rush to reconcile. Don't allow yourself to let disagreements fester. Yeah, it makes no difference who's the first person to recognize it. Whenever there's a disagreement, you rush to make sure you do whatever is possible to discuss the thing. I mean, some people say, "Well, we're just going to take space. We're just going to take some time." No, I do not believe in that. I just don't. I believe that if you're heated, if you're really really hot, okay, fine. You take a few minutes, but tell your partner, "Listen, we'll be back. I'm going to take 20 minutes. I'm going to take 30 minutes, only 30, and let's come back together at 6 o'clock and talk some more about it." That's fine. But for people who to say, we're going to take some time, no, we're going to stay in separate. No, no, we have a rule, and this has become a rule since the show. In my own home, nobody gives up the bed. No, sleeping on the couch,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Nobody does.
Yeah.
No, we don't do that.
Yeah.
That's insane. No, you reconcile, you heal by being together. You don't heal by being apart.
Do you just like go
You
to
know.
opposite sides of the beds? Maybe we're just not going to cuddle tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you do the east and west thing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you do that. But no, you never surrender.
Yeah.
You take a break. That's fine. Go to opposite sides. That's cool. But you never surrender. And the only other thing I could think of is, and Dr. Pepper taught me this, is the power of touch. That when you're your angriest, force yourself to touch your partner, even though they may not want it, but somewhere way down in your psyche, you really do want it. But you're just like, no, don't touch me. But you touch anyway. And like, okay. So it's like, force yourself to touch, because when you do that, you start breaking down barriers. You're creating closeness. And it might be weird. It might be awkward, but just force yourself to do that. And it helps so much. So that's another thing.
I'm loving that. I'm taking so many mental notes. I'm taking all of this home with me today. I'm like,
So,
I'm
I
not going to
love
put you
it.
on the couch anymore. Maybe.
No,
We haven't gotten
no,
there yet. We
no.
haven't gotten there yet.
Okay. No couches. Couches are for sitting and watching TV. Not no no
Okay.
no 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 no.
Noted, noted. He's
Never
gonna
give
love
up.
that. He doesn't spend a lot of time on the couch, by the way.
Well, good.
By the way. So what do you love most about Married at First Sight?
Outside of the cast, I think what I love most are the people that I work with. Also, one of the things, our executive producers are really genuine people, and I think that that's what makes a good show. The fact that the people behind the scenes are committed, they root for the couples. It's amazing, and this is what the viewers don't see. It's amazing how often a producer will be, you know, uh, just in the background, just say, "Oh my God, what?" They'll come to Pascal. What can I do? What can we say to them? Because we really want
Oh,
them to,
yeah.
and it's that whole energy that happens behind the scenes. It's so affirming, and it's so great because everybody wants success.
Yeah.
And that's why when people tell me like, well, look, no, you guys are planning this to produce. No, that's not this. That's not this show. This show is actually looking for success. We love it when a couple succeeds. So that's one thing that I really like. Is the whole village behind the production is so affirming. And also the other thing that I really love about the show is that you get a chance to look into someone else's marriage and actually pull out things that relate to you and say, wow, we're going through that very same thing. Let me see how they work that out. And I've gotten so many emails, so many DMs from people who have said, thank you so much for that. That really, wow, we were going through the same thing. And I just so appreciate that. You guys helped me through that. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing
Yeah.
how many people have been literally, their marriages have been just completely benefited from just watching the show.
No, I can imagine how healing it could be for couples watching and the free
Yeah.
counseling that they get from you too.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, that helps. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
helps. What are some of your top most memorable moments, good or bad, from the past 10 years?
Ah, from the past 10 years, the most memorable moments. One, the first one that comes to mind is Runaway Bride in Denver. Uh, that was that was a first. Um, um, Another one was we had a couple in Texas, I think it was, and she got stopped at TSA because there was a warrant for her arrest.
No.
And we were like, what
Oh,
the heck?
what?
What did on the honeymoon, on the way to the honeymoon?
What?
So
Did
TSA
she go to
stopped. It's like
jail?
what? And we've done background checks. We've done background checks. We made sure there are no criminal records. But this happened after the background check.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that was one that was very, very crazy. But some of the more positive things that have happened, I could name a bunch of those. But some of the more positive things that have happened are people like Jeffy and Shawnice in Boston. Just seeing them overcome their trials and their challenges to be such a beautiful, thriving family. I love them. I stay with them even now. I mean, we stay in contact. I have so many grand show babies.
Yeah.
Brianna and Vinny. I had my wife and I had lunch with them a little while back, or this summer, and just those two babies they have,
Oh.
just so beautiful. Um, Anthony and Ashley in Chicago. Anthony is such an incredible human being, and their children are just so adorable.
Yeah.
And so those are the things that I look at and I say, wow, this show is really, really, really cool, and it's really been such a benefit. And it's cool to kind of, people see you out in public and they'll say, wow, thank you so much for that, or
Yeah.
wow, I really enjoyed this. My someone told me last night, literally, they said, we really take notes. You're doing the show, and that all makes a big difference. So yeah, those are really great things that I can garner from it.
Let's now dive into the newest season of Married at First Sight.
Yes.
Season 19. Let's get into it. Okay,
Yeah. Listen.
I really want to know, how do you feel about having a mother and daughter, Jalen and Belinda, on the show for the first time?
I thought, you know what, I was very nervous about it. I'll be very honest. It wasn't planned. I was actually interviewing Jalen in her home, and what we do often is we'll contact the parents or siblings. Or I said, who can I call? They say, well, call my mom. And I talked to her mom, and while I was on the phone, I was like, wow, she's like a replica of her daughter, and so I said, are you single? Or
Yeah.
something to that effect. And she said, yeah. I said, okay, fine. So Jay said, well, she ought to be on the. I said, okay, yeah, yeah. We joked about it. But when we got back to the war room, we found out that, wait a minute, maybe we should consider her, because her qualifications and who she was as a person, she was just so stellar. She was just such a stellar person, that we had to at least consider it. And lo and behold, we found a match for her, and so that's how that came about. But it was a little nerve wracking, but they have such a great relationship, a mother and daughter relationship. They talk so openly and so honestly about everything that I believe that not only has it been good for their marriages, but I think it's also good for people to see a mother and daughter
Yeah.
talk that openly and that honestly.
hmm
And so that's been a real benefit. I think it's really been cool.
It was really refreshing to see that relationship because I'm so close with
Yeah.
my mom, and my mom is close with all of her
Yeah.
daughters, and all of her children are adults now. So being able to see like dating in such proximity, like with your mom, and not dating, but marriage and like such
Yeah.
proximity is like, I couldn't imagine. I would be like, Mom, honestly, I love you. I don't want to hear it though. But I would just, but she would support me and she does support me. But I would be like, listen, Mom, wrap it up. I don't want to hear any of that. But it was
That's funny.
refreshing to see that dynamic on the show, and I did get a
Yeah.
chance to speak
Yeah.
with them, and they are just so beautiful, so wonderful. So,
Are they?
yes, so they, like you said,
Yeah.
replica. I'm like, even like looking at them, I'm like, whoa, listening to them talk and their laughs and their mannerisms.
Yeah.
It was amazing to
Yeah.
see. So I could see how Belinda would be a great,
Yeah.
great person for anyone. Like, she's just an amazing
Yeah.
woman.
She is. And Jalen's adorable.
So
I
sweet.
she's one of my favorites. She's just so adorable. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we learned at the reunion that unfortunately none of the couples from season 19 stayed together. What are your thoughts on that? And were there any couples that you were surprised didn't make it?
Yeah, I'm very surprised at Megan and Derek, that they didn't make it. I think they could have, um, but I think sometimes people get in their heads too much, especially after going through traumatic experiences like they have. They could have used that as a bonding tool, but I think that the pain uh, became too much for them to bear, and instead of turning to each other, they turned against each other. And couples do that.
Yeah.
But we offer free counseling after each show. And I think that had they taken full advantage, that they probably would have found some more success. Also, Jalen and Josh, such high hopes, such high hopes. But and I believe that they are all great people. I still really like them individually. But I think that what happens, and I call it almost like the married at first sight. I don't know if it's a curse or what, but it's almost like sometimes when people get on the show, if they succeed, um, it's because they have really. It's almost like they have separated themselves from the show. They've separated themselves from the TD mindset, and they've really connected to marriage. I talked about Vinny and Brianna, where they are married and they see themselves as married. They're not trying to be TV stars. They're trying to be married.
Right.
Of course, they use social media, et cetera, but their focus is marriage. And I think this is what happens quite often. And I can say this sometimes with gentlemen, also with the guys, is I think that once they get on TV and um, I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I think they get caught up into thinking that they can get better now because they have all this exposure and all this fame,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
So now I can go out and I can find something better, because now people know me. But what they
Right.
don't realize is that, dude, your entire marriage is on TV.
Right. We saw.
People see, we saw everything. We see the negatives, we see the positives, we see when you're a butthole,
Yeah.
we see we see all of that. And now anybody who you date, they have like a manual,
Right.
to
Right.
determine the kind of person you are.
Right.
Stay with who you were matched with because it is tough
It is.
after that.
Yeah.
It is, it's tough.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my answer to that.
No, that's
It's
so
it's
true.
disappointing when couples are not when they choose not to be together.
No, I can imagine like all that hard
Yeah,
work
it
and then
really is.
watching
It is.
because the whole show films for what, 6 weeks, 8 weeks?
Yeah. Yeah. You mean the actual filming?
Yeah, of the from when they get married to the decision day.
Yeah, it's 8 weeks. Yeah, which is about 3 to 4 months if you include the prep work and stuff after. Yeah, it's about 3 4 months. Yeah.
Oh man, I
Yes.
mean,
It's a lot.
that's a
It's a
lot.
lot.
Yeah. Well, Pastor Cal, thank you so much for joining me today. But before we wrap, what's next for you? Is there anything in store for the future besides our book that I'm waiting for my signed copy?
Yeah. Well, one thing that's really really interesting is that I've been in for 16 seasons, and um, Dr. Pepper and Dr. Pia and I, and what's happening right now is we're actually at a point where we're passing the torch to new experts now that we're on Peacock.
Oh, wow. What does
Yes,
that
yes, yes, yes.
mean?
That means that I'm on to some bigger and better things. But I wish the new experts the best. And I think the show is going to be taking on a different a different turn. And I think that this is just a part of the evolution of the show. But we're passing the torch, and the new experts will be coming on, and it look, they won't be me, but they will be.
I know that's right.
But we have some great things happening. My
Yeah.
book, Marriage Ain't for Punks, is being optioned for a TV show. So we're shopping that now for Marriage Ain't for Punks, the TV series. So that's going to be exciting. So there's some great things happening. So my plan is to go from front to back of camera. So that's exciting.
Amazing. Okay. Well, if you need a couple in front of the camera, I know someone that's ready to hop
I
in
got you.
front.
I
But
got you.
congratulations on moving on to bigger and different endeavors. I'm really excited for you guys.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Well, I just want to thank you again so very much for taking the time out to join me on What's the Reality. It has been an absolute
Aw,
pleasure. And I'm sure this will not be the last time our paths cross. And
absolutely
yeah, we will
not.
make sure of that. Again, my husband is a big fan of yours as well, so I'm sure we'll
Oh,
we'll make it work. But thank you again.
thank you, thank you, thank you. My best to you and yours.
Thank you. And thank you guys for tuning into another episode of What's the Reality. Be sure to follow us on all social platforms at What's the Reality Pod, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye.
What's the reality? What's the reality?